connected so that it's like, oh my goodness, yeah, I just can't do without it.
Can you truly make somebody do something that they don't want to do?
Well, I mean, forcefully, yeah.
No, I mean legally. Not a god. It's not The Godfather. You're not going to wake up to a dead horse on your bed or something.
Right, yeah. As far as that, I mean, yeah.
I think it's going to be very hard.
Yeah, some people can be manipulated into doing something, but they may do it, but they don't feel good about it, and they have resentment.
That's exactly. And the next day, when they say, I talked to my wife, and she was a little upset with me, and I shouldn't have spent that money. We don't have it, and we really don't need a 42-year subscription to Boys Life magazine. And then they call you back, and it's dead. And I had a lot of those at one time in my life. When you finally get to somebody who you can manipulate at pressure, there are people who succumb to that kind of pressure, that kind of psychological pressure. But then when they're away from you and they don't have the pressure, or they get pressure from someone else to go the opposite way, then they're manipulated again to change their mind, and they do. And they backpedal. They renege. What are the expressions? Buyer's remorse. Isn't that the expression?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the only thing I want to think about every morning, every day, how do I make somebody want to buy what I'm selling? How do I get somebody to want to buy? Not be forced or pressure, but get them. Did you ever want to buy something? Remember when you bought your car? Could you think of anything else? You studied it. If you're like me, you go to Consumer Reports, you read articles. You're looking for the best deal. You check prices and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You get that focus. So when you make that decision, yeah, man, I want this car. Consumer Reports gave this 3 stars, and and when it hits a leaf on the ground, it doesn't split in half, and whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the key. Is learning how to ask questions like a therapist or psychiatrist would get people to reveal something that's of a certain urgency or problem for them. And then can we throw some gasoline on that fire and make it worse, get them so emotionally involved? And this is where transactional analysis comes into. In fact, I'm working right now. If you could see my screen, let me see if I can work. It hasn't been working too good on the share screen lately, but this is the psychology of guts. It's the last mind map. I just came out last week with my new package.
Nice.
2014 Guts Update, and I have about 5 PowerPoints, I believe. This is number 6, and these are PowerPoints dealing with the most important sections, I think, of the gut sales method. And this is the last one. I released it, but I put a date next to this. This won't be released till Wednesday or Thursday, of the psychology of guts. And I have, as you can see here, if you can, I have a mind map and transactional analysis and, the genius of Popeye. I am what I am, and that's all what I am. You remember that when there's the most down to earth, secure man who's reached or nirvana. I am what I am. I just accept who I am, and that's good enough. You got to love that. How many people get there? Why should the prospect buy from me today? So I have the mind maps and things like diagnostic self-analysis. Emotions are your friend or your enemy. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that. That's probably, and I've worked on what questions to ask, a whole PowerPoint on that. I worked on the marketing strategies, the basics, but probably the most important part is the psychology. What's the other guy thinking? Not that we can read minds, can we get really close to there and ask questions very creatively. I'm using that word. very carefully, very creatively. We want to ask questions that are open or closed-ended, that are positive or negative, and that bring out a need, a greed, a pain, a passion, a fear, something. And then they get talking, and their emotional scale, I call it Clods Barometer. I think I better write that down. I'm going to put that in my mind map. We call it the Clods Barometer.
I've been doing certain things that just like what you do whenever you go through some of the sessions, is certainly taking notes and just jotting down little idea reminders.
I always have a little pen and pad, always. And I'm a guy who believes in technology. I've always got iPads and iPhones and all that stuff here. But sometimes just a good one of these next to your bed, and you can get $1 million idea. My wife walked in. If you read the story, it's in the book. It's one of my books, I'm pretty sure. In my manual, the Guts Manual, she heard me bullshitting on the phone with somebody, as I used to do quite a bit. And she said, well, you just gave away a lot of information. Why don't you charge for it? I had a self-esteem moment, not a bad one, lacking self-esteem, better said. And I said, who would pay me to talk to me? I said, who am I? I'm nobody. And she said, well, you are willing to pay other people. Don't you think there are people out there who want to know what you know? You've been doing, I was already in law school and doing a lot of real estate. And I said, I don't know, let's find out. And a lady called me up. She was in LA, I was San Diego. And she said, my husband and I have a real estate deal, and we have some bad tenants in it and all that. And can you help us? We read an article you wrote in a magazine. And she said, I need your contracts and thank you. And she was taking it for granted that I was just going to do all this for her. And she said, and we'll come down there, we'll buy you lunch if you can help us with this problem and give us some contracts. I said, well, ma'am, I'm a little bit more I thought I'd give it a shot, what my wife said. And I said, ma'am, I'm a little bit more expensive than a corned beef sandwich. And I used to eat a lot of corned beef and stuff like New Yorkers do. It's not good for you, and I don't do it anymore. But and she said, oh, I didn't know I'd have to pay you. Not that I wasn't willing to pay you. I didn't know I'd have to pay you. And so I threw a number out of my head. I think it was like $1,000 or something like that. Just threw a number out. This is 20-something years ago. And she said, okay, that sounds reasonable. I got off the phone and I went, holy shit, I was in law school then. I was doing real estate. I had a court clerk job that was barely paying $200 a week or something. And I just made $1,000 a month's salary.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So that was $1 million idea. I got an idea 3 weeks ago. You noticed it right away. I made the transition to time trade, my scheduling system. Mm-hmm. That has given me literally an extra 10 to 15 hours a week.
Wow.
Already.
Nice.
10 to 15 hours a week times 4 weeks or 1 month. That's 40 to 60 hours a month.
It's huge.
You're right. Your words are. It's huge. Mm-hmm. And so my day ends around 1 o'clock, usually my time, Mountain Time. Then I have the rest of the day to exercise, run if I want to take a run, do my own phone calls, my own deals, do a lot more writing. I'm producing so much stuff. Here's a new book just finished. Okay, just came from my editor, my wife.
Awesome.
Yeah, our huge editing department, my wife. Okay. I'm going to have the Lease Purchase Revolution come out probably in November. Working on the Guts diet. I'm real big on health and nutrition and things like that. Exercise and doing another project, because I got this extra 10 to 15 hours a week now.
Exactly.
One good idea.
Nice.
Yeah. So many, many different things you can do. You practice your skills of sales, and you keep your eyes and ears open for new ideas. And something good always happens. That I just focus on the. Someone once told me, focus on the focus. Focus on something that's really important. I think most of us get distracted. I know I do. But if I can focus on one thing with really just blinders on, it's done. I will accomplish it.
Heard that.
Yeah, good. So I'm talking too much. Tell me what's going on in your any questions you have, any role plays, any deals or pretending deals, or tell me how I can help you.
Yeah, I'm still just looking to get in front of people. I'm talking to professionals. I'm trying to, like Craigslist. They're so it's so weird, and I've got to get off it just because there's so much kind of like phony stuff. I don't know what it is if it goes on in other areas, but there's a lot of.
It's free.
Like, what's that?
It's free.
Yeah.
What is free? Free is the. So I used to make a joke that free was the second most powerful word in advertising, meaning the joke that sex was the number one word. Some guy called me up. He says, "I guess we should just say free sex." Or something, and then the phone would ring off the hook or something like that. But got to be careful talking to quote unquote experts, and Craigslist just gives you it's a numbers game sometimes. You're going to get a lot of people who waste your time, don't have any money, don't have a job, don't have credit. Why do you think we do not give a presentation in the beginning?
Enormous time waster, money waster, energy waster, and
yeah. So the people you're calling on Craigslist, who are they? For buyers or sellers?
Contacting me are supposedly potential buyers, but the ones that are contacting me right now are, they're supposed tenant buyers, but they don't have $250 put down, and their monthly.
$250. I mean, you can't even do business with some. Go ahead, call me up. You got 3 minutes. Qualify me. Hello, am I calling you?
I don't know.
I'll be a tenant buyer. You got to qualify me in 3 minutes.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm going to reset this. Be fair. Okay, say hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Mr. Berber. Hi, Claude Diamond here. Saw your ad in Craigslist here, and I'm really interested in this rent-to-own. I live in Nashville.
Oh, you live in Nashville? Okay. And you said your name was Claude?
Claude Diamond. How y'all doing?
Doing great. My name is Brady. I was wondering, you said that you're interested in one of our homes that we got listed for lease option?
I saw your ad in Craigslist. I don't know anything about it, but I've always wanted to own my own home, and I just read an article about rent-to-own. I saw your ad just for the hell of it, and I thought I'd give you a call, see what I could do.
Okay, so you're renting right now?
Yeah. No, well, actually, we're living with my mother-in-law.
Oh, okay. Well, that's got to be pretty good, right?
No, it sucks.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're thinking about getting into a home and stuff.
Yeah.
You're not needing to get into it anytime soon, are you?
Yeah. To be honest with you, off the role play, I stopped the clock. Okay. That's the words. You got to listen really carefully. They say things like to be frank, to be honest with you. What are they really saying when they say that, by the way? I call it a Freudian slip.
Yeah, I've watched you in some of the other sessions do that. And I've picked up on that years ago as well, because being in sales to know that's a hindrance as well as an identifier to someone who's looking out for that. They may think that you're BSing them the whole time, and then you're now all of a sudden being honest. What?
I think some people do it as a habit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think they do it but why did it develop into a habit? Because certain statements they make have more veracity than other statements. It means that some things they say are not true. Some are fabrications. Some are obfuscations. Some are they're just professional pathological liars.
Mm-hmm.
They're so good at it. So you got to listen really carefully. To me, when a guy says to me, well, to be perfectly honest or to be frank, or what are the other things they say?
You know, it's been a while. I haven't even paid attention. I know some things I think that people pick up just because they've heard other people say it,
Mm-hmm.
and they think it relates or can relate into the conversation better than what just using normal English
Mm-hmm.
might be. I can't think of any at the moment, though.
Well,
But,
when I hear that, that means that I'm either thinking this is a much more important statement, or everything I said previously was a lie.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to accept, everything I said, Mr. Berber, back then was really a lie. So now I'm really going to tell you the truth because it's important. That's what I'm reading in their mind. That's what I think. Now, I'm not always right because this is not perfect, but these are the clues. And when you hear that from someone, you've got to dig deep.
Mm-hmm.
And when you dig deep, you get to the truth eventually. You never know what you're going to learn in a role play. I just said it because I hear people say it all the time. I wanted to see if you'd pick up on it. Well, let's go back in the role play. Well,
okay.
to be perfectly honest with you, Mr. Berber, I lost my job. I'm living in the upstairs of my mother-in-law's house with the 3 kids and the two dogs. And my mother-in-law is, she's a little crazy, and she leaves beer bottles all over the place and everything. And it's not very conducive around the kids and everything. We got to get out of here.
Okay. Well, Clyde, hey, I'm sorry that you're going through that, and good that you're trying to make things better. I certainly believe you stick at it, you're going to be able to come out on top of this and do a lot. There's no doubt about that. Now, what I want to say though, with you being honest with me, I certainly appreciate that very much. But what I've got to do, just to let you know up front, what I really need to do is to gather some serious pertinent information from you, so that I know if you can get into a home or if we need to transition you into something else, to kind of qualify you, if that's okay.
Yeah, you can ask me anything. I'm an open book.
Okay. Well, I've got a...
You're out of time, by the way. I am now turning this over.
Okay.
You're getting 2 revolutions here.
2 revolutions. Well, I've got... You got access to a computer?
Yeah, we do, but I don't like those things.
Okay. Well, what I could do is get some basic information. We might pick that up. But what I really got to ask you, right now you don't have a job or an income or anything, right?
I didn't say that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You saying I'm a bum or something?
No. I'm just trying to...
I just said I lost my job.
Okay, so you've got an income now?
No.
Oh, you don't have an income?
No.
Okay, well, that's what I said, right? Or did I not?
Well, I mean, and when you say income, you mean a salary?
Just current. You're making money on a daily or weekly basis.
Well, I got a severance pay of $250,000 when in stock and options and bonds for my company when I left.
Oh, okay. Wow, I'm sorry, I didn't pick that up.
Yeah, I don't know if I like your tone.
Well, hey, I could certainly understand that. Should I go a little higher or a little lower? But anyways, yeah. So you got $250,000. You're wanting to get out of that home, and you're wanting to. You got any money? Are you wanting to use that to buy a home, or I'm not really understanding if you've got that kind of cash. Why you'd want to lease?
I'm a chemical engineer, and I have several patents, and I've done some pretty good inventions in the chemical engineering area. And my company restructured, and they laid me off with $250,000. They also released me from all restrictions on inventions and stuff, so I can now utilize my patents, and I'm starting up a new company. And I just want to watch my money right now because starting up a company is expensive. I have to get out of this mother-in-law thing. I can't work up here in the attic with the kids and the dogs and the old lady leaving beer bottles all over the floor. So I just thought a rent to own would be a good idea. But man, you're making me feel like a third class citizen talking about no salary, no income, or anything like that.
No,
I've
that's
re-
all right.
I have real good credit. Always paid my bills. My
Okay.
wife's also a surgeon.
Oh wow. Okay. Well,
Okay, let's stop the
I don't
role.
know.
Let's stop the role play here.
Okay.
Why did I pull the rug out from under you like that?
Probably because I probably assumed that he fit the demographic that everybody else does. Instead of saying, okay, well, do you number one, you got what kind of income or not, what kind of money you got? You got
So,
enough to
so
put
what's the
down?
what's the lesson we learned here?
Yeah, money first. Definitely got to.
Always talk about the money first. Don't make assumptions, and you got to listen really carefully.